lot nicer, yeah.
Congrats on a win. That was a pretty fast-paced match right from the outset. Did you expect it to go to that pace when you were heading into it?
Yes, I feel like I should have pushed a little bit more on certain, certain situations. Took a little longer than I thought to pull the trigger on some moves, and then he would just dive and try to attack my legs, and then he saw that he wouldn't get it. He would just like change his mind over and over again. That made for a little bit awkward in the beginning, but then once I kind of got the rhythm going, it was okay.
What was going through your head after regulation when you went to your corner? Were you making some mental adjustments on what you needed to go out and do in overtime?
Yeah, I was trying to kind of like even like talk out to my team, like, okay, what do you guys see? What do you guys think I need to do to get a little bit closer to the submission? Because watching his matches before, I already knew he was going to be hard to tap. He's very good at defending himself, sliding out of bad positions. They work on that a lot. I know that their team is pretty good at defending arms and back and all that. They're always like sliding out of things. So that was the only frustrating part was me thinking of the submission before I actually had like a good control on the position, and then the time was just kind of like running too fast in my head. But yeah, some days are better than others. Some days you're just locked in a certain zone. Today I was very calm and relaxed. I wasn't too stressed on any situation in there. Even when he got close to anything, I wasn't like too worried. I was just even too calm for what I need. I need to be a little bit hyped to be able to perform to my best.
Any sense of disappointment that you weren't able to get a submission, or?
Yeah, I do get a little bit disappointed just because I train so much and I just expect so much of myself because I want to make this work out. I want people to watch and be like, oh shit, you saw that? That was crazy. That's what I want to do when I come here and be able to push this event to keep happening and getting better and better and getting to near higher a higher and higher height in the sport or in the media especially. So yeah, but not too stressed. Not too stressed this time.
You were on the stage here yesterday for Media Day, and you had talked a little bit about your MMA training and how maybe some of that training you weren't as focused maybe heading into this match. What was it like when you woke up this morning and you're getting ready to head to the Apex? Were you able to regain some of that focus?
I don't think was the MMA aspect for the last like few weeks or so. I actually had to slow down a little bit the MMA all my trainings because 3 weeks ago I had a hamstring injury that I was like, shit, is that gonna make me not be able to even compete because it was really bad? And then the team from the PI, the physiotherapists in the PI, and all the people that I work on my personal side too, they all helped me. Everything was feeling great. I started feeling like I was already on 100. Athlete's mentality. You just think you're good to go after 2 weeks, and then try to push too hard again. End up feeling my hamstring one more time on Monday, and I just had to kind of completely shut down and slow down and wait for the match. So towards the very end, when he tried to sweep me, I felt it again, and I just kind of had to, okay, just stay on the ground. Stop trying to get up and wrestle because it wasn't it. With that said, back to MMA focus now. I'm excited to be able to go back to training full-time, hard training MMA. I'll still training jiu-jitsu, have to stay training jiu-jitsu. I have my own gym here, so I'm never going to stop training jiu-jitsu in general. But, mostly my focus for the next few months is MMA, get my first fight, get my first victory, God willing, and then after that, probably back to Fight Pass and just doing this back and forth this year, trying to evolve my technique while I'm training MMA, and then back to hard training jiu-jitsu or just technique MMA. But I've been doing that for the last 3 years. I'm not too worried.
Are you able to share any updates on what's next in MMA or when we can see you in the cage?
Yeah, so Tough Enough is a local event here from Vegas. They show on UFC Fight Pass. A lot of good UFC fighters came out of there. I've been to a few of their events. I actually, I'm happy to be able to be on a local MMA event to get started. Feels very familiar. So April 25th, if everything goes well, I'm gonna go back now, check my team, see how my leg actually is doing. But I should be good to go. April 25th should be the next day. If not, the month after that.
You've had so much success in this sport. Is there any time when you're doing the MMA training, like where you're maybe having some doubts, like, do I really want to go out there and get punched in the face? I'm having so much success at grappling. Yeah. Like, does that ever go through your head?
100%. I mean, not so much in the training. I feel like in training, maybe there was like 2 guys that I've trained with, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But there was like guys that have 30 fights, and they're just like trying to show you, like, hey, dude, let's slow down. And it's awesome, when that happens, you kind of got to humble yourself, like, okay, Okay, one step at a time. Let me chill. I'm actually pretty humble. I try to do not, test myself or go there like a crazy blue belt, for example, in jiu-jitsu. That's what you would call, and trying to kill the guy that's actually is better than you. Of course, they're gonna put you in your place. Uh, with that said, I think mostly watching fights, watching the UFC fights in general. Sometimes these guys get cracked and go fully out or just get all busted and destroyed. I'm like, I don't really want to do that, This is kind of dumb. My brain is okay. My body's already all beaten up from jiu-jitsu, but the only thing I have good is my head. But I don't know. I enjoy it, When I'm training over there, it's actually fun. I actually like the idea of punching people in the face more than I like getting punched. I think that's the main goal. Getting punched the least I can, moving my feet, moving my head better and better, and then trying to get my strikes going. But yeah, I really enjoy learning, especially, and then getting better at something that I'm not great at it yet. But if I bring them to the ground, I think I got a good chance against high-level guys even.
Last one for me. You talked in your post-fight interview about how you really wanted to see FPI come out with some belts. Have you had talks with them about that? Maybe you could be involved in the design or something?
I mean, I would love to be involved in the design part of it and stuff, but not necessarily. But I did hear, someone may have spilled the beans on something, that some stuff like that might be happening soon. So, I feel like this is the last match that I'm getting someone that is not at the highest level. He's a guy that had competed here a few times, had good wins, good subs. So, like, you know what, bring me him, and then after that, I want someone that is, up there. There's few guys that I really want to fight. They're stuck on some contract issues right now, so hopefully they will sort that out until my next event here. Next one to go is going to be Raquel, so that's her for the next Fight Pass Invitational. I'll do my MMA fight, and then right back to Jiu-Jitsu, and hopefully those things will be ready. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up. I cannot share just yet, but guys, stay on the lookout. On the next event, we should have a lot of more cool stuff happening. Whole different idea.
Looking forward to seeing you in the cage. Congrats.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
You mentioned that you're in the gym and you're watching some other fighters and what they're able to do. Who would you say your style is most like right now? And then who do you think you're going to be in the next couple of years in MMA?
I mean, I would love to be Charles Oliveira, if I to be like anyone. I mean, that's the jiu-jitsu guy that we all, I think everybody in general loves Charles. He doesn't speak one word in English, and he's worldwide, loved by everybody just by his style of fighting. So that would be the ultimate style, be able to strike, be able to do takedowns, be able to hit submissions. But I feel like right now, because I'm a beginner still, I pick and choose all the time who I want to emulate and mimic. So I like a lot of Peter Yan style. He keeps his guard up nice and tight. I like even Sean O'Malley, how he moves his feet a lot. He picks his shots. So I'm always kind of playing with different styles. Right now, honestly, I do a lot better with the kicking part of it. I feel like it's very similar to foot sweeps and things like that. I've done some judo before and jiu-jitsu, so that's not too weird. Boxing is definitely a little bit tougher. It's not my main sport. It takes time, I guess, but everything is becoming more and more familiar. It's fun. It's fun to do it. Once I can mix it up and at least make them think about the takedown, then everything clears up. But now if you cut out my legs and the jiu-jitsu, then I'm like, dude, easy.
You've had a lot of success on cards when both you and your wife are on. What was it like tonight for it just to be you fighting?
It was cool. It was a lot slower. Sometimes we have like friends competing and my wife, and we have a big crowd in the back. This time it was just me, Raquel, and my boy Shane. And, we were just, I don't know, it was kind of like, just so natural. It's almost like hard to lock in this time around because I just feel at home. Sometimes I train here in the Apex. Sometimes here, I'm here quite often. So it's not too stressful anymore. Almost like it makes hard to turn it on. But with that said, when Raquel's competing, I feel like it helps me to get an energy of the crowd and get a feel for it before I step out and go myself there. This time I felt good. Everything felt well. I just think I could have pulled the trigger a little bit earlier on, and on certain situations. But I don't think it was too bad. But yeah, definitely different. I do enjoy when she's doing it a little bit more.
Congrats on the win. Two quick ones for me. Amazing performance. Even you didn't get the finish, you still went out there and worked hard, especially with what you disclosed. That's kind of awesome that you still prevailed. transitioning to the MMA professionally will be probably a lot easier than it would be for others for you. This is a goal that you get to accomplish this year. How many fights do you want to get in, and at what weight class? I apologize if I missed what weight class you'd be fighting at in MMA.
Yeah, I hope to do 3 to 4 fights. Actually, this year I probably can only do about 3. In the beginning of next year, hopefully the last one for the contract, which is 4. I would love to do 4 in 12 months would be amazing, especially because I've been waiting. For the last 2 years, I've been thinking I'm going to fight, and it never happens, you know. I almost had a fight last year around the same time, and then it got canceled last second because the guy got injured or something. So hopefully this time will happen, you know, so I'm very excited. So, yeah, 4 fights and at 155. So I just got down to 170. I was, like, up to 187, like, in the end of the year. I've been trying to gain weight, lift more weights and stuff. There's a lot of guys over here, they're on some heavy sauce. So I need to, you know, like, somehow bring us to a closer, you know, level. So that's me trying to work out as much as I can and be able to do that. So I felt really strong today. That was a win. But now back to eating less and cutting the weight down. So I went all the way down to 170. Should be back up right now to 179 or so. But yeah, I gotta start cutting weight again.
Excellent. So can't wait to see it. Best of luck. Hope it happens April 25th.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. See you guys soon.
Renato, congratulations on tonight's victory. Now that you're kind of a local product now of Las Vegas, do you find yourself in a hometown advantage situation? Does it feel good to compete, or do you find you fall the potential dangers of falling into the traps of being too comfortable fighting in your own backyard? How's the experience for you?
I think right now, especially because I've been doing this for so freaking long, you know, I've been training since I'm 8. And ever since I started, I've been competing. So it's been 20 years already of competition altogether. And then being here so often, like I said, and being in home grounds, I think it does make a little bit of a difference, but it motivates me more than anything. It's not too stressful. The last time I was more stressed because, like I said, I would love to be like Charles Oliveira. He was sitting right there, and that definitely threw me off. I wanted to put on a show, and I wanted to do this and that. And the guy that I was fighting was just not the guy for that. I had to be strategic with that guy, you know. I shouldn't have wrestled a freaking NCAA 3-time champ. But I was just, you know, letting the exciting Renato Canuto come out and you know, take over. This time around, I wasn't too stressed. I felt actually very calm. I'm trying to be more professional with my mind even, you know, and not just depend so much on my heart, you know. And picked and chose right decisions, tried to stay safe. I knew that my leg wasn't too great, so I didn't want him attacking my leg too often and find out that, you know, something worse happened. So I had to take this one a little bit easier, but it wasn't too bad. I think for the next one, I will do a little bit better of a mental work to turn it on and stay a little bit more locked in even throughout the match.
So you mentioned his leg lock game, his foot lock game. It's top notch. How did you prepare to attack that or address it and not get caught in one of his traps?
This time around, I honestly did not make about the opponent as much. I almost like made about like, okay, this is how I'm going to attack. This is how I'm going to get past his guard, and where's my submission options at, you know? And that was also why I feel like it felt a little bit awkward. Maybe I should have worked a little bit more on counters and certain things. I just, even on the warm-up today, I just felt like if I was to dive and try to take his back from his leg entanglements, I felt like my leg wasn't feeling too strong. And I was like, I don't want to be stuck doing that. So I had to kind of make some certain decisions due to this annoying injury. But, you know, I still was able to show up and do the best I could with how I felt. But I don't know. I don't feel like he's the hardest leg locker guy I ever been against, you know. And that's why in the end I say, like, guys, please put some respect on my name. It's just I've faced so many good guys, you know, and I've been on the top of the list of the good guys in this division for a long, long time. I did slow down for the last 2 years or so because I was trying to fight MMA, but you know, I'm still one of them, you know. I'm still like, there's only 2-3 guys out there that probably can give me trouble and actually make me worry and be like, oh shit, I'm stressed. I gotta train hard for this guy. But even them can get it too.
So 2 more questions. Did you ever feel threatened by that crucifix position he had you in? When you guys kind of went off the mats and then you reset?
When we reset? No, I had him in the crucifix, no? Yeah, I had him in the crucifix.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Did you ever felt like you had him in danger?
Yeah.
And
So
did the reset affect that at all?
no, the reset not so much. I almost wanted them to reset because I was like, he was moving too much. So if he went out of bounds fully, then sometimes they like, oh, we can remake the position. So I was like, please just reset already so I can like keep that. It did feel awkward though. Like he just found a way to kind of hook himself into it. And I usually take the back from there, or I go back to the mount. I trap the arm already. And all those options was hard. He was using his head and his neck a lot to trap my body underneath him. And I just couldn't swing the freaking leg over. That was very awkward. And then I was kind of married to that position now and really trying to make it work. I should have just let go and scrambled earlier on. But he did a good job. He defended well. He's a very good defensive kind of style, honestly. He's really good at surviving, and sliding out of bad situations. He's good. He has good leg locks. But I felt a lot stronger than him, honestly. I was able to, like, boom, pin him down. I could see on his face, he was like, oh, shit, I can't move this guy. Never mind, let me go for the next thing. So like I said, it just felt a little bit awkward. He just kept changing his mind a lot. And I was also not trusting myself enough. Didn't want to, like, get caught sleeping and actually get leg locked. But it wasn't too bad.
And last question, knowing that this was your last, FPI for the near future, you're making this transition into MMA. Did you put more pressure on yourself?
Yeah, I feel like especially the day of, we have this whole day to sit down at home and think about how it's gonna be, where's the positions I'm gonna be at, where am I at already in my career, and I've been 3-0 here. Like I said, I wanna be fighting for a belt here soon. I wanna be the champion of this thing. I wanna run this thing for a long time, for as long as I can. So it definitely puts me some pressure on, like, trying to perform better than anybody else you've ever seen here. So that's kind of hard. Not every time is gonna be the best time, especially on this card. We have a bunch of good guys: Victor Hugo, Nick Rod, Ronaldo Jr., Achilles Rocha. Like,
and how does this rank?
Yeah,
all your victories.
Yeah, it's just a lot of really good guys. So I want to, like, make sure I stack another win. But I also want to get a submission, and I want to get a submission bonus, and I want to be, I want people to look at me and be like, dude, that guy is it. And it's about time. I feel like it's about time people look at me and understand that. They have to start understanding that. Like I said, there's not much guys in this division that can take me right now.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you guys. Guys, have a good one.
Congrats on the win, man.
Thank you.
Huge win for you. Lots of history between you guys. Fourth time you guys have faced each other. You were on the stage yesterday. Said you really wanted to get that sub. How good does it feel to finally get the submission?
Incredible, I'm not a guy that I'm going to say what I'm going to do, like, in a match. I just say what I wanted to do, and I do my best to achieve it, and I was able to achieve it in a very good fashion, because he's a well-known wrestler. He takes people down, so to take him down, take his back while he does really well and choke him, I think was a kind of a statement. And yeah, super, super happy. I think it could have gone in a better way the whole week, like the opportunities that I got through UFC this week to meet Poatan, be here, talk to you guys a little bit before the match. So I just wanted to give my best and give it a show.
You talked about his wrestling. The commentators after regulation and heading into overtime kind of made a comment that they thought the momentum had kind of switched over to your opponent, and that's really where he's able to shine based on that format in overtime with his wrestling. Did you feel there were a momentum shift heading into overtime?
I definitely do, but I think one thing that kind of, like, I have inside Jiu-Jitsu, and I can say it, like, with a lot of confidence, is it doesn't really matter who's the momentum, like, what momentum is happening. I have been, like, in World Championships losing really bad, and I came back with 1 minute left. So I think I have what it takes. Like, I don't know if it's heart, I don't know if it's mental, I don't know if it's, like, spirit, but I can always come back. It doesn't really matter what the momentum is saying. I just stick it on my head, maybe it's stubbornness. So I knew he had the momentum, but I just, like, kept trying, and I felt like he was beating hard as well. I think I kind of, like, surprised him with my standing, something that I don't show very often. And yeah, and then we got a win.
You're obviously much bigger than Nicky, had the size advantage. Do you think that played into you being able to go out there and get the win?
I think that combined with my speed, like I was able to kind of like defend a few shots using my speed, and whenever I had to be heavy and strong, I was able to do heavy and strong. So it's what kind of like what I said on my interview earlier. I could be dynamic and kind of like unpredictable. I played guard for the whole match, and I stood up and took him down. So I think that kind of messes up with your opponent a little bit, and I think that's what makes me such a huge threat inside the grappling.
Made a pretty big call out in your post-fight interview. Gordon Ryan, obviously one of the biggest names in the sport. When you make that call out, is it a matter of you wanting to test yourself against the best, or do you see some holes in his game where you think you might have an advantage?
I think it's kind of both. Not only his game, but whenever we faced each other last, I think I was just at the beginning of my no-gi kind of like, not career, but kind of like the second chapter, you know, like facing him on the date that he kind of performed his best. Jiu-Jitsu gave me kind of like an eye-opening experience, like how much better I could have got. So I think I have hit a new stage now, and I'd love to test myself against him because he's the guy that beat Nicky here. So I think it would be a great opportunity. Another thing that I didn't have time to say there is like I'm really addicted to the hardware. So I heard there's a belt coming at some point. So I would love to get a shot at the belt and carry the UFC belt around.
There's a lot of talk on stage at Media Day yesterday with the FPI athletes about PED use, and obviously Gordon's on one end of the argument. Would there be hesitation going into a match with him without some stringent drug testing ahead of it?
Not really. I think I'm bigger than him, so not really worried about that. I think the worst thing, as I said before, is like when you put it out in a way where the young kids are seeing you, and maybe you can kind of like hit them with the influence, like they're not like well mentored, so they might get onto that stuff too early. That might lead them to some other troubles. So I say like when you're there, it doesn't really matter how much gear you're taking, you know, how strong you feel. It's just like a man versus another man. So I would love a shot at him. However he shows up, I think I still can be bigger. I'm blessed with good genetics. I'm 6'4", 270, and going up. So I don't think it would matter much. I think what's like matter the most is like make sure they're leaving a good influence to the younger generation. And nowadays we have good champions. People have been really outspoken about it. So I think stay off drugs, focus on your jiu-jitsu, focus on your family, focus on your attitude on and off the mats, and they'll take you really far.
Last one for me. What do you want the rest of the year like to look like for you? Getting back in the gym, obviously. How many more times would you like to compete this year?
So I haven't competed since August. As I said, I got a couple injuries. And I got to say, I think I set the bar really high for myself now. So it's really hard to say what's next. But I can't wait to actually go back to the gym and get back to work. I got this match kind of short notice. It was like a 4-week short notice. I was actually skiing. So I look forward to have a match where I have full camp, where I can actually see know who I'm going to prepare against way before than that, and see what version of myself that's going to show up after a full camp, and, you know, like be able to train more. So I look forward to get back to the gym, you know, like train with my partners, make each other better, and keep improving, you know.
Congrats. Thank you.
Thank you.
You had mentioned, so your opponent is known for his cardio and being able to sustain that throughout the match. Was part of your strategy actually to hold guard for so long?
Yeah, I'm really patient with my defense, you know, and Nick is a really effective and dangerous grappler. When he gets to good positions and people freak out, that's usually when he gets the best of them and taps them. So I got in really bad spots with him. I felt his strength. I felt that he was confident. But I trained under one of the guys that has the best defense in the game, has shown like in different stages how good of a defense he has with Xande Ribeiro. So I'm really comfortable in bad positions. And as you said, you know, I felt that he was really strong. He was really motivated to win. So I think him being able to be in good positions but not get, you know, me exposed to a submission kind of like probably messed with his mind a little bit, and it helped me on like recharging and kind of like readapting my plan throughout the match, you know. So I think being patient when you're in a bad position, when you're like in the bad spots is important. I think it doesn't really matter the sport. You just gotta, you know, be patient. As they say in different sports, defense wins games. So that was a bit of it today, you know. When I have to use my defense, I use my defense. And whenever it was the time to pull the trigger, I pull the trigger, and I finish the job.
How much do you think that people have underestimated your defense?
A lot. I don't think I think my defense is kind of overlooked. I have been like in really bad spots against like the best in the game, and they weren't able to submit me. But funny enough, on my last match, I was submitted for the very first time in 14 years of jiu-jitsu competing. So it was kind of like eye-opening moment. I was like, oh shit, they can make me tap. So it made me work on my defense even more. And nowadays, you know, it's just about like not being fragile out there, make sure they cover all bases. And I think, you know, people overlook not only my defense, my jiu-jitsu sometimes. So I think tonight was a chance for me to show how good I am and that I can shine under the big spotlights.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Phenomenal performance. If you could just walk me through that finish, because when we could kind of hear the commentators who were excited that you looked like you had it the first time around. Then you had that just get that angle. He was trying to peel the arm, and you were able to sink that in. That was beautiful, but can you just talk me through that?
So grappling with Nicky when you're in a good position is kind of like trying to catch a wet soap. He's really like, how can I say, slippery, but also athletic. So whenever I got the first look at the back, he literally almost like escaped. So at that moment, my main goal was like, don't think about submitting, think about actually getting to the position, and then once I get there, lock everything up, and then work towards submission. So it was kind of like that. I made him fall. I almost took his back. He kind of like had me kind of like hanging for a little bit, and I was able to recover the back and eventually like get to the finish. Funny enough, like we felt literally like right next to my coaches, so that helped a lot. Like they were like right here on my ear, so they're kind of like guiding me through the movements. And as I said, like I was patient enough to, whenever I got a good position, execute and submit.
Awesome stuff. And just, you mentioned the short weeks notice taking this fight. I mean, it's the 10th event, main event in Las Vegas. You overcame a lot. How proud are you of your performance? You really, really excelled tonight.
Man, super proud. As I said, I was super excited, but also, since my last performance, a lot has happened, you know, with my life and also my career. I haven't competed since August, so it was kind of like a big call for you to take short notice, and whenever you haven't competed in months. So I was a bit like, oh man, what's it going to be like? But also, I think this week kind of helped him just be grateful and happy. Whenever I first walked in here today, I was blessed enough to see DC. He walked right past me, and I was kind of like, you know, like I was kind of not tense, but kind of serious. And he was like, what are you serious about? Just be happy. Take this opportunity and just be happy with it. Just enjoy it. So I think that was kind of like the last touch for this amazing week that I had. And this is what the UFC Fight Pass is about. You know, like look at how many great opportunities I had this week. I grew up watching the UFC, so it was like a dream come true putting on a good performance tonight.
Well done, sir. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Victor. You faced off with Nicky Rod multiple times. Was there anything different about this particular matchup that you recall from any previous time? Did he feel different?
Yeah, I think he respected my guard game less, if you could say that. He was way more offensive. He had good looks at his passes, and man, I was super impressed with like his coaching. Like for every movement I did, they called something, and he did a perfect counter. So. Like we kind of do the same too. We study him a lot, but this time around, I think they like study extra. Like he was doing really good at countering my guard, countering my grips, and that kind of made me have to switch my plan. But as I said before, if I have to switch my plan, if I have to switch the momentum, I think I have what it takes. So I was able to switch the strategy a little bit, stand up with him, tire him out a little bit, and take him down. So it was really surprising to see how much he tried to pass my guard, tried to be aggressive. And I think it was something that I wasn't super expecting, you know. And from the very first moment that we faced each other to today, I think today, even though he got submitted, he probably showed the best jiu-jitsu against me. Like he got to like good positions. He was able to counter my guard game a lot. But I just had to pull another card, you know, like. I pulled one card, it worked. I pulled some other card, it worked, and then I pulled the last card, and that one like kind of like I nailed it, you know.
So it's been a pretty good while since you competed. Are you looking to stay more active this year? And are there any events that you're looking forward to that you have your eyes set on, IBJJF or anything like that?
Definitely. I like to stay active because I think it helps me build momentum and kind of like stay sharp. Like it allows me to go back to the gym, get to work, and then like work on some other matches that is going to push me towards another direction. For example, he's a wrestler. I had to wrestle with him. Maybe I'm going to face a guy that plays guard, so I have to work on my passing. So every challenge gives me a chance to get better. So I look forward to stay busy. I want to get back to the Fight Pass at some point. I love being the main event, so whenever that call arises, I'm going to take it. And as I said, I would love to take a shot at the belt. I think it would be amazing if I one day I'm able to compete for the belt here. And, you know, like, I'm going to stay ready. They called me. I wasn't super ready, you know, like it was a 4-week notice. So I look forward to receive a call, get a proper camp, and show up and give my best, and maybe, you know, hopefully put on another show.
Excellent. And then last question. You did call out Gordon Ryan.
Yes.
But as we know, he's had a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
If he's not available, do you have a list? Are you keeping a list of some of the guys that you want to face off again? And you might even face Nicky Rod at some point once again. What does your list look like?
I'll definitely face him again, because I think even though I submitted him tonight, he's a great competition. I think it probably will take him a couple matches to be up to a contender again. But I think somebody else that it's kind of like a weird moment for us now, because a lot of the like great names, they're kind of injured. So me and Nicky was kind of like one of the top guys that were available. But Marigal is a guy that is really interesting match, but he's also injured. So I don't want to be out here calling injured people and like sick people, but I think those names would be like a great matchup. Another person that has been doing super well, it's Kainan Duarte. He won the ADCC. He with Nicky, I think they showed the best jiu-jitsu. They're like the grapplers of last year throughout, because of the performance they had. So he would be an interesting match. I know he's focused on other things now, so I just want to be going up, you know, like I don't want to see myself going down. Not coming from a place of like overlooking opponents, but I want to like the matches that will bring a lot of eyes, so I can prove myself to the public and establish my brand in the no-gi grappling.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys.